My name's Liam Lacey and I'm the software developer behind the AlphaSphere and its AlphaLive software. In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you how to use the AlphaSphere as a multi-channel MIDI instrument with Logic Pro. I've also made videos for a number of other DAWs, so make sure that you check out the ones that are relevant to the DAWs that you use. Also, please note that this is part 2 of the using the AlphaSphere as a multi-channel MIDI instrument tutorial. So if you haven't done so yet, you may want to first check out part 1 of the tutorial, where I go over how to program the sphere to be a multi-channel MIDI instrument using its AlphaLive software. So here I have Apple's Logic Pro X running on, of course, Mac OS X. I've got a new empty project open, which I set up by going to File and New, but by default you have to have at least one track within a Logic project, so that's what's here. The AlphaSphere is plugged into the computer, and we've got the AlphaLive application running, and I'm using the AlphaLive project that we created in part 1 of this tutorial, which essentially set different MIDI channels to the different rows of pads. So first, let's go over how to connect the AlphaSphere to Logic Pro and setting up its MIDI input. So by default, Logic should automatically connect to all MIDI devices that are currently connected to the computer. Therefore, as long as the AlphaSphere is connected and AlphaLive is open and running a MIDI project, Logic will receive MIDI messages from the AlphaSphere straight away. Next, I'm going to show you how we go about adding 3 software instruments to Logic Pro and giving each one a different MIDI channel. So to add new tracks in Logic Pro, you can go to Track and New Tracks here, or an easier option is just to click this plus button here. So we've already got 1 software instrument in our project, so we just need to create 2 more. So make sure software instrument is selected. Let's select the number of tracks to 2 and create. And now we have 3 tracks in our project. Next, let's assign instruments to each of the tracks. So let's select track 1. Let's get rid of these views here. Go to the instrument slot, and I'm going to assign a sculpture instrument to track 1. So let's find a preset to use. Let's choose this one here. Then when I play pads on the AlphaSphere, it should trigger this instrument. And remember from tutorial 1 that we set this row of pads to send mod wheel data with the pressure. So you'll hear that when I apply more pressure to a pad, it will modulate the sound in some way, bringing in a tremolo. Now let's assign instruments to the other tracks. So let's select track 2, go to the instrument slot. I'm going to put an ES2 instrument on this one. Let's find a pad sound. Okay, that's a good pad sound. And then on the 3rd track, let's find a bass sound. So let's put the ES2 instrument on again. Go to the presets. Play some pads on the sphere. That will do. And so now we have 3 instruments on the tracks. Next, what we need to do is assign unique MIDI channels to each of the tracks. So to do this, select a track, click on the track settings section here, and under the MIDI channels option, let's set track 1 to MIDI channel 1. Let's do this for the other tracks. So track 2 to MIDI channel 2, track 3 to MIDI channel 3. Now the next thing we need to do is go to File, Project Settings, and Recording. And under the MIDI section, we need to tick this box here, Auto Demix by channel if multi-track recording. So this allows the channels to be split onto different tracks. And finally, we just need to record enable each track. And when you play the different pads on the AlphaSphere, it should trigger the different instruments. So finally, I'm going to give you an example of how we can map the MIDI CC pads from the AlphaSphere to control software parameters within Logic Pro. Now, the most basic way to assign a CC message to software parameters is using Logic X's new Smart Controls feature. To access this, first select a track, so we've got track 1 selected already, then click this button here, which is the Smart Controls feature. Now, as you can see, this will show the Smart Controls section that groups together 8 of the most important parameters from the track's instrument and any applied audio or MIDI effects. However, these 8 slots can be mapped to any of the track's parameters by going to the Smart Controls Inspector and using the Parameters Mapping section here. So to assign a MIDI CC message to these controls, first select a control here, click the Learn button under the External Assignment section, and then press a MIDI CC pad on the AlphaSphere. So I'm going to press a pad on the top row of the AlphaSphere. And when I press it, it will automatically link up to that control. So now I'm just going to assign the rest of the 7 pads on the top row to the other 7 controls here. So click a control, press the pad, and so on. When you finish, press the Learn button again, and then when you press the pads, you'll notice it's controlling the software parameters. You may find that the pad interaction with the software parameters isn't quite what you want. To edit the assignments in more detail, click the Edit button here, and this will bring up the Controller Assignments window, and it will show you all the assignments that we just made. Now, you'll probably want to set the whole depth of a pad to control the entire range of a software parameter. So to do that, you'll want to set the following values. So min and max to 0 and 127, format to unsigned, multiply to 1, and mode to scaled. So let's go through all the assignments and make sure that all controls. As you can see, we need to just change a few values here. And now you should find that the interaction is exactly what you want. However, there is a lot more you can do with controller assignments within Logic Pro, so I recommend checking out Logic's documentation for more details. So that's how you use the AlphaSphere as a multi-channel MIDI instrument with Logic Pro. If you use any other DAWs, make sure you check out the other relevant videos, and make sure you look at our other tutorial videos too. Thanks for watching.